Weather in Oklahoma. So I get asked this all the time. And if you're considering making a move to the Oklahoma area, I mean, it's definitely something to be aware of. So I know the first thing people think is tornadoes. Oh my gosh. So we're going to talk about that, talk about the different seasons and what you can expect here, allergies, all that stuff. So if you're new here, my name's Ryan and this is...
I'm his mom and my name's Karen.
And we run the Top Hat Connections real estate team here in Tulsa. So if you're thinking of making a move, obviously we would love to help you with that. And on this channel, we share all things living in Tulsa, local fun restaurants and points of interest, and of course, real estate tours and tips as well. So if you're into that, of course, like and subscribe. But without further ado, let's jump into it. So first up, let's just talk about tornadoes because I'm sure that's on everyone's mind. And what to know is, at least as far as Tulsa goes, really don't get as many tornadoes as you would think. So the most hardest hit areas in Oklahoma is actually Moore, Oklahoma, which is like two to 2.5 hours away from Tulsa. So just don't live in Moore and you should be good. No, I'm just kidding.
They keep rebuilding.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not really sure why people live there. But Mom is going to share a little bit of kind of her thought process over the tornadoes when we moved here way back in 2015, I think it was.
Yeah.
And so you were like pulling up tornado maps.
I was pulling up all kinds of things. And I found out that Tulsa really doesn't get hit that much. And I do believe the reason is because we have hills. There's hills around us. And I think, and I've watched it many times. I've watched the radar come across and they seem to split. When it comes to Tulsa, you either go north or they go south, or they fizzle out, and it's the hills. I really believe it with all my heart. It's the hills, and out there to the west of Oklahoma City, it's plains area, and it's flat, and it has nothing but room for tornadoes to grow. It
does. Like Porter, Oklahoma. If you ever go there, it's very windy, and the reason is because it's flat. There's no buildings. It's a lot of plains land. So wind just builds, and as the storms come across, there's nothing stopping them. So they can get pretty crazy. But like Mom said, when they get to Tulsa, there's a lot of trees, there's buildings, there's hilly areas. And so that does help to dissipate the storm. But the good thing is, as far as seasons and rain goes, a lot of people ask me, well, what's the temperatures like there? Well, I can say some of Oklahoma can tend to be a little bit more deserty. At least the Tulsa area, they call it green country. So Tulsa and the surrounding suburbs tend to be more greener than some of the outlying communities. And that's because as the storms roll across the nation, Tulsa seems to get a lot of the rain without all the crappy tornadoes.
Yeah, no, it's a good place to be. I know. I used to live in West Texas, so, you know.
Yeah. It's not great.
It was the edge of the desert. So anyway, I'm enjoying it here, and it's very nice.
Yeah, so you're definitely going to get a lot more rain. We were just showing houses to a guy from Phoenix, and he was impressed by how green it was here. So if you are considering moving to one of the southern states and you're wondering if it is just like a desert, at least in the Tulsa and surrounding areas, it's going to be more, I'm not going to say tropical, but definitely more green than some of the outlying communities.
Right.
As far as seasons go, an ongoing joke in Oklahoma is, if you don't like it, just wait a couple hours and you might like it a little better.
Well, and this was the last week. We were in the 90s, and this week we're in the 70s. And so I'm enjoying it all the way.
Yeah. I mean, you can go from having it be like freezing temperatures sometimes to being 70, almost 80 degrees in an afternoon, all in one day during our summer. When it's transitioning from winter back into summer, you never really know what you're going to get. So definitely always check the forecast before you leave the house to know what to dress for.
Helps.
It's a lot of layers in Oklahoma. Usually you may have a sweatshirt on or something when you leave the house, and by the afternoon you're in shorts and a t-shirt. So definitely not uncommon. Allergies is another big one. So I unfortunately deal with major allergies, but I can say since moving to Texas, we lived in the country, so it was a little bit more dusty. So I think I had a bigger problem with it there. But moving here, I mean, we do have ragweed in some of the southern areas. And then we have, there are these white trees that are they're pear trees.
They're a pear tree. Yeah. And they do.
But they can bother people.
Yeah, a lot.
I wouldn't say they really bother me. I don't think I'm allergic to them. I'm more allergic to like the grasses, and like cedar really bothers me. But these white trees, while they are really pretty, some people complain that it's that kind of a season for them. But I will say Tulsa, because of the rain, and because if you live more in the city area like South Tulsa, Broken Arrow, Bixby, there's a little bit more just because there's more houses, more condensed, you get a little bit less dust. So I think that helps to have less allergies. But it kind of just depends on how you tolerate them.
Oh, yeah.
But I would say it's definitely better than it was in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's just because it's less dry. Now, winter in Tulsa can be a little bit different. We've had a few bad freezes recently. So if you live in Texas, you're more familiar with this. But in the South, we don't really get that much snow. When it does snow, it rarely sticks, and it's usually melted by the afternoon. But we do get ice because our temperatures fluctuate so quickly between warm and cold. A lot of times it will snow, melt, and freeze again by the afternoon, evening when the sun goes down. And so then we have ice issues. So that's something to just be aware of. If you're coming from a northern state, if there is any kind of inclement weather, even just a little bit of snow or a little bit of ice, everything shuts down. You won't be having school. You won't be having, like a lot of sports will get canceled. Any kind of outings, they get canceled. Just because people in the South don't know how to deal with driving on the snow.
The snow isn't so bad.
The snow's not bad, but
it's the ice.
Yeah.
The ice is really bad.
They will. And grocery stores go crazy. I mean, as soon as there's any kind of forecast for snow, buy your groceries right then, because it's going to get sold out. People kind of just lose their minds here. I don't know what it is.
Like a hurricane, you know.
They
if
think
you lived in Florida,
the world is ending. But we're from Minnesota, so we're very familiar with snow. But at least in the South, it's just not a thing here. And so when it does happen, if you're from the North, you're going to laugh. And if you're from the South, just know that, a lot of things are going to be closed down. School will be canceled and that kind of stuff. And really not a problem, but it's just something to be aware of.
I know that people that live in the heart over there in Tulsa, where there's all these major hills in the neighborhood. Yeah, I look at that every time and I think, nope, they don't go anywhere when it ices.
Yeah, when you are shopping, that's something to be aware of, because there are a lot of hilly neighborhoods in Tulsa. And even some driveways that are like either way slanted this way or they're way slanted up. And it's like, if it ices, you're not going anywhere. So something to be aware of in your home searching is how the driveway is angled. I will say, though, because of the recent freezes, the city has invested more into snow plows and just more salt trucks and stuff. So they're definitely a lot more on top of it now than they were when we moved here and had a first few couple freezes. But again, if you're coming from Texas, it's very similar to how they deal with winter weather. We're just not equipped for it. So when it happens in the South, Southerners are like, we're not going anywhere if it's below 30 degrees. No, not really, but.
No, they get out, but then we watch the news and we see a lot of them didn't make it to their destination.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, they manage it. People have wised up, I think, through the years. They know. They got to wait for the trucks to get out there, wait for them to salt the roads. And
The other thing is our fall seasons. So we don't have a huge fall season. It happens pretty fast. I mean, with our temperatures, you maybe only get a month at best of leaves changing colors and the nice cool temperatures before it's like winter.
Yeah,
I think that's
kind of short.
Kind of just because of where Oklahoma is located.
I'll say, too, that the fall colors really are more in late November.
Yeah.
I guess maybe through November. I know in Texas, they were more Christmas time. But here, it's November.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
So the other thing is just temperature in general. So since we've lived here, when we first moved here in July, I think it was like the feels like temperature was like 115. It was pretty hot.
Really
It was
hot.
like one of the record temperatures. Like everybody in Oklahoma was like, it's never this hot. So that's like the extreme. But I would say average, it doesn't get over 100 too long.
No.
I mean,
no.
maybe a couple, maybe 3 weeks, but for the most part during the summer, it's around
And it
low
isn't 3
90s.
steady weeks. It's just, you know, a couple
Yeah.
days will get up into 100 and
Yeah.
go back down again. And
Right. I'd say your average summer temperature is around low 90s. And then
yeah.
the average temperature across the whole year is probably between 60 and 70. It's usually pretty nice.
It's pretty nice here. I do like it. And I will say that I think we have a little bit more humidity than we did in, say, in Texas because of the rain. We have more rain.
Yeah.
So I think there's a little bit more humidity, but I don't think it's not stifling, nothing like the coast or anything like that. So
Right. Yeah, definitely not Florida. I hope you found this video helpful. Of course, share it with a friend who is thinking about making a move to Oklahoma. If we can answer any real estate questions for you, or if you're curious what other things there are to do in Tulsa, you can always reach out to us or just subscribe to the page and find some cool videos. There are separated into house tours and living in Tulsa stuff. And I share a lot of reels about cool, reels, I guess, YouTube shorts about just fun places and restaurants in town. So hope you have a great day and subscribe for more of that. And we'll see you in the next one.